Welcome to Charmed Life, a radio show discussing spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome, everyone, to a new year and to Charmed Life. I'm Tricia Carr. I'm your host. It's 2017. Do you know how awesome it is that it's 2017, especially as compared to it having been just 2016? That sounds a little kind of simple, but that's how I think. No, but really, numerologically, and I'm not an expert in numerology. I have a friend who really is. 2016 was a 9 year, and 9 is the number of conclusions, of endings, and so not to be indelicate, but it's frankly not surprising that we had so many things happening toward the end of 2016, where we were seeing some folks withdrawing their consciousness from this plane, and not to mention all of the political stuff that went on in 2016. Oh my goodness! If you think about what the 9 number represents, it's called the universal number 9 year. It's really not a surprise what we've been experiencing. So 2017 is a 1 year, which means new beginnings, fresh projects, fresh outlook. And if you think about how everyone has been very emotionally charged and upset about the social political stuff, well, we have this 1 year, this new start year, this fresh project, new energy to be able to change it. Isn't that great? So congratulations, everyone. We made it to 2017. And I'm pleased to be here with you. Like I said, I'm Tricia Carr. If it's your first time tuning in, I am here to talk to you about spirituality, metaphysics, and the unconditional love of the universe. And the show, by the way, is called Charmed because something I would like to start to talk about at the beginning of the show here. The reason I named this show Charmed is because, in particular, I had an experience when I was going through this big awakening process with my guides, the helpers that I have on the other side, which you all have, angels and guides. And I was told in this one beautiful instant I was having, this experience I was having during meditation, I was told by a guide that I am charmed. And that isn't to say that I'm special, because we are all charmed. And for me, that's language that really inspires me, really works for me. Charm being something that is magical, that makes you feel inspired. And something that I wanted to talk about, because I've been discussing it with a friend of mine, this amazing teacher, spiritual teacher. Her name is Crystal Ann Compton, and I highly recommend that you look up Crystal Ann Compton. She has a wonderful YouTube channel, and the most current episode that she just posted on her YouTube channel is about this topic, and it was interesting. I was already being inspired to discuss it. The topic is signs and wonders, which is how it is referred to in the Bible, referring to these cool things that happen, these spiritual events, these miracles. So if you have a reading with me and I'm able to receive information about you that I couldn't have possibly known, those things that when someone has a psychic or intuitive reading and they go, oh man, how did you, oh yeah, I was just yesterday and oh, that's exactly what he said to me, the person who's passed, or when someone's animal comes through to me and I'm able to communicate with the animal and they tell me very specific details, all of those things that make us go, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I wasn't using, I wasn't being blasphemous there. I just really mean like those moments it's appropriate to say, oh my God, you know? And what those are meant to do is to crack us open and to help us to feel that we are known, that we are supported, that we are experiencing a lifetime that in which we're not all isolated and the world is against us. That absolutely everything we do, we are held with love. That we're made of love. And so that's what those incidents are meant to do, is to remind us of that. And what's important is what you do after, what you do between those big events, those phenomena, if you want to call it that. Not only that, but you're so special, we're so special, that you can have a life that is just made of those charmed events. That every day and every moment, there are so many of those happening, and there are. And if you can accept them and then do the work in between where you are growing yourself, growing your consciousness, and realizing that state of being so connected, that being so known, then it does become more of a lifestyle. And I was telling my friend Crystal Ann Compton that I say she's my friend, which is kind of new, really amazing, because she's like this really powerful teacher on online, and I'm taking a class of hers, and then we kind of connected because we have a lot of things in common. So I'm like, she's my friend. If Crystal ever watches this, and that she's probably gonna giggle because that's what we were kind of noticing the other day. Anyway, if you ever check out Crystal's channel, you'll find her telling her about signs and wonders that, something miraculous happens, something fantastic that turns our head and floors us, that, say a psychic event. And, God or the universe, whatever you feel like calling the all of which we are a part, says, so what? So what? Yeah, I mean, this person told you everything about your life, or everything that your departed loved one experienced, and this beautiful message. It is fantastic, but at the same time, so what? Because we are made of miracles. We are made of love and starlight and that much more. So I named the show Charmed because I think that we all are charmed, and that we can live a life that feels entirely charmed every moment of the day. And we are taking calls today. So that all of that to say who I am. I do use different tools of, I have these abilities that I utilize. Mediumship, which is, being able to connect to people or angels that are non-physical. Some people just call mediumship just connecting with people that have passed, whatever. Or psychic or intuitive, however you want to call all of that stuff. Not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychic, if you're interested in those kinds of little delineations. It's a discipline of mine. It's something that I study, and it is something that it is a gift, or it is an ability, a talent, just let's say like musicianship. Some people are extremely talented, naturally, musicians, but then they also develop their technical skills so that they can more easily rely upon it and execute it. But it's always about that flow. It's always about the creative process. So I see all intuitive arts or psychic arts just as that. It honestly feels exactly the same to me. I was an actress growing up pretty much most of my life. And when I started to uncover these abilities in a more conscious way, I realized that it's exactly like the creative process. Because before I would go on stage, I would take a breath, I would connect with the character, and then there you go. I mean, of course, I had to memorize the lines and all of that, but then sometimes there's improv, and there's always just letting that flow. So that's what I do, and I'm also an animal communicator, which is also in that area. Where, it's telepathy. I actually connect directly with animals and gain their perspective. And that goes to speaking with animals that are physical, that are in the body, and animals that are on the other side. And so animals in nature use telepathy, non-physical or subtle vibrational language as their primary mode of communication. And so what's cool about practicing animal telepathy or nature telepathy more consciously is that there is always an expert on the other side of the conversation, because humans forget that we have this ability. And, we actually, we come into this plane, and that is our first language, is vibrational language. Babies and parents communicate with one another that way. And we communicate with our partners that way. Everyone experiences it. So animals use it every day, all the time. It's their primary form of communicating and receiving and giving information. But the phone number, if you would like to call in, is 323-524-2599. And if you are watching live, thank you for being here. You must have either not stayed up too late or stayed up so late that you're still up. And either way, I'm happy to see you. Or perhaps you're catching this as archived on YouTube or on my podcast. And by the way, if you enjoy this content, please do share it. If it benefits you or if it inspires you, then perhaps it'll inspire another. And I would appreciate it. And please do subscribe. If you're watching it as a video on YouTube, please like it, leave a comment, and ask me a question, whatever you like to do. I welcome connecting with you all in all the ways that we can. And 1 second, my computer is just being a jerk. It's not being a jerk. I love my computer. Oh, don't reject your computer. You got to bring it in and love it, especially during Mercury retrograde. So what I do want to talk about, but do we have a call? Oh, no. Okay. I thought we had a call come in. So what I want to talk about today is how we can start to do that thing that we do in the 1 year, or, change. We always want to change our life for the better. That's the whole journey of life. So, know that when you're really kind of struggling, feeling like I need to change things and it feels a little too heavy and a little overwhelming, know that that's just the journey. And if you can remember that, to take a breath and realize that that's the fun part, that we get to do that we get to seek ways to grow and to change our life, to continue to be creating, because that's what we are. If you are a student of any religion, every religion talks about being made in the image, is how it's phrased in the Christian text, in the image of God, or in the image of the Creator. There's an original creative source. If you just use logic, philosophically, we could trace it back, that before there was the potential of me. And so we can trace that back to absolutely everything. So before anything physical there was potential of it being eventually. And so that is really a universal creative source, the universal power, universal oneness. So some people call that God, and I think that's great. And some people call it source energy, and some people call it the universe. Whatever language works for you is perfect. I kind of use all of them. I came up in religion, particularly in evangelical, fundamentalist in some ways, Christian church. And I actually didn't know that I was religious while I was in it. I thought that I was spiritual and not religious, but I don't know, if you start to put some boundaries around it, then it's religious. If you say this is the only way that you can understand or feel or do things, and then placing authority outside yourself, then that's where it becomes religious. So I came up in that, and at some point, those boundaries, they became a little too tight for me. So I left it behind and started exploring just myself from the inside, and I actually did throw away some of my spirituality and throwing away the religion, because I didn't know that there was another way to have a spiritual experience. I didn't have a worldview that allowed it. I didn't have a conscious understanding of it. And so that took a little time, and I started to read Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle probably about 10 or more years ago. And that was really great, because I remember Eckhart in particular saying that at the front of the book, his The Power of Now, I believe was the book I was reading, or it could have been A New Earth. I think it was The Power of Now. That he says at the front of it, for this teaching, if you already have a religious or spiritual or whatever kind of practice, you can use it. You do not have to leave it behind. Bring it with you. And for this spiritual teaching, the door is wide. The door there's not even a door, really. There's just you and you expanding yourself. And that right away was like, yes, that's why I left the church. At that point, it was probably 15 or 10 years. I don't remember. Who cares? Several years prior. That right there was comforting to me and just made sense that every person in the world, because we all have unique perspectives and there are infinite perspectives. So if there are infinite perspectives, how could one perspective be the one to salvation? That makes no sense. That's just illogical. We have a brain so that we can figure some of this stuff out. So anyway, back to changing your beliefs, because that's all back to changing your reality, I should say, or manifesting new things, because we are powerful creators. And I spoke last show about that, about how to make your wishes come true. And the first step to being able to change your reality is to realize that you can change your reality, to realize that you are a powerful creator, that you are of the source, whatever that original creative source is, and you're made in that fashion. I have to clear my throat. Pardon me. Live radio. Live broadcast, that's what happens. So realizing that you are a creator and accepting it. And in that acceptance and embracing the fact that you are a powerful creator also is taking responsibility for everything in your life. And responsibility is one way to look at it, and that can feel heavy. Another way to look at it is ownership. I like to look at it from that perspective because now that's empowering. So ownership of absolutely everything in your life. And you've probably, if you are interested in this program, you either have or you have heard of or you're ready to hear about the law of attraction. The law of attraction is that which is that you attract unto yourself that which is which is a frequency match, just like a radio signal. And last week I talked about what that really means is essentially we each emit a frequency or a vibration out to the universe. And it's like us placing our order for what we want. And what that is made of, how that frequency, what it looks like, it's really your emotions. It's your feeling state. So if you're feeling gratitude is acceptance and allowance of what you have. It's really just the function of allowance and receiving. So the state of gratitude is very powerful because you're sending out to the universe and you're celebrating the fact that you allow and you accept. And so that's it. Being in the state of gratitude really starts to open up doors, and it helps you to continue to receive, to be open to the infinite abundance that the universe has for us. And so that's why gratitude is so powerful. I personally, every night, my ritual that I kind of started, I may have mentioned on the show before, it's fairly new for me, but I'm loving it so much, is I have a crystal, it's called fluorite. It's a really beautiful little piece. And I put it in, I have some crystals right here. I put them in these little silk bags. So I have a crystal, a fluorite, and I keep it under my pillow. So every night before I fall asleep, and I like to fall asleep with the TV on, which I know a lot of people, it may not be good for some people. It's fine for me. I'm just going to tell you, it's fine for me. I like it. It actually relaxes me. But before I fall asleep with the TV on, I pause the TV so that I have some quiet space. And I take the fluorite out. This isn't fluorite. This is actually labradorite. I take it out, and I hold it in my right hand because the right hand is the hand that we use to give to the world. Even if it doesn't matter how dominant you are, which kind of dominance you have, whether it's left or right-handed. It has more to do with the brain function, right and left brain. Oh, almost dropped it. How I hold it in the right hand and put my left hand over it, actually. And then I hold that piece, that stone, beautiful mineral created by Mother Earth. I hold it to my heart, and I just feel gratitude, whatever comes up. It could be exactly what I thought of yesterday. It could be something brand new. It could be that I have this wonderfully comfortable pillow that I'm about to lie my head upon. Anything that just comes up, and I just feel gratitude for it. It's really about the state of gratitude, the feeling. And then I might say a little, prayer, just welcoming peaceful sleep, welcoming if I could have a spiritual experience, a dream, an attunement that would raise my vibration, meaning bring me closer to love and helping me to allow more love, frequency of love through my vessel and my being. Then I welcome that invitation as well. And then I just put it back in its little bag and I put it under the pillow. And it's a great way to fall asleep. And then I put on the timer of the TV and probably fall asleep to Friends or something silly like that. So the state of gratitude is a very powerful way to start seeing some changes in your life, because it is, particularly if you're which we all are, wanting to welcome more abundance. Because abundance isn't just about cash, and it's totally fine if it's about cash, if that's what you're thinking of. Cash is great. Cash is just energy. But there's also abundance of experiences, of love, of relationships, freedom, an abundance of freedom. All of that is open to us. And the universe is infinitely abundant, and we are inseparable from that abundance and from the universe. We are the universe. Christ said, "You are all gods," because we're inseparable from whatever that whatever you know the word God to mean, or whether it's the word universe that you use, you're inseparable from it. We are it. Okay, so the emotional state, the feeling state, is what actually is the texture. It is the actual vibration, the frequency that you emit, that places your order to the universe, essentially. And how that is influenced is, you've probably heard thoughts become things. It's true, because your thoughts influence your emotions, and then that creates your frequency. But what I want to talk about is something that you can, I want to give you something that you can do at home as a little practice on your own. And it's, I call it changing your beliefs. You change your beliefs to change your life. And the reason is because a belief is really just a thought that you keep thinking, according to Abraham Hicks. I really like that illustration of the word belief. A belief is just, I believe, I keep thinking this thought. It's the thing that I keep identifying with. And the deal about beliefs and thoughts in general is that we have a lot that we are conscious of, clearly, and we have a lot that we are unconscious of. There's a lot of beliefs and thoughts that are happening around in that underground place where we don't realize that are happening. And every now and again, one pops up and we're like, what? Whose that thought is that? I don't want that to be a thought that I have. And I help a lot of people. I coach and I do readings and stuff. And people will look at their life and say, I feel like, for example, I keep attracting dates that don't treat me well. And they treat me like, I don't deserve to be loved. But I know, and then they'll start to cry because it's a conflict in them. They know they deserve to be loved. These people that experience this, they're always very sensitive, loving people. But they're having the experience, and they recognize, because it's a pattern, they recognize that they're bringing it into their life. They're having this moment of being a creator, of knowing that they create their experience. And are having that conflict of, I deserve to be loved. Of course I do, because I believe everyone else deserves to be loved. Yet I am creating experience that is showing me a thought or a belief of, I don't deserve to be loved. I think everyone can relate to that. We have other, we might look at your financial situation and say, I really want to have financial freedom, and yet I keep not having financial freedom. And you can think, well, I did grow up with these different sort of mantras almost of money doesn't grow on trees and all that kind of stuff. But I don't believe in that anymore. I truly don't. I think it's fine to be able to be financially free. We have a society, or whether it's society or your parents, will condition us to think things like, the filthy rich. That that's pejorative. Filthy rich. Filthy is a bad word. We've coupled it with rich, and rich sounds like, I have a stomach ache. Those are all just really subconscious messages that we're receiving, that being financially free or abundant means that you're not a venerable person. It means that you're not a person that has a strong moral standard. We think like, well, that person is wealthy, and tell me if this doesn't happen to you. You know someone is wealthy and you go, I wonder if he's also a scumbag. Oh, no, I don't mean that. Why does everyone who's wealthy, I want to be wealthy, so why is it attendant that a wealthy person is a scumbag? You catch yourself. It's in there. There's a root of it. And so that is one of those subconscious beliefs that are just floating around in there. And it's in there, it's supporting, it's like the soil beneath what is growing that frequency, that emotional state. So changing your beliefs can help you to change your life or what you're manifesting. Now, how do we do that? Well, I actually have a handy-dandy little process that I want to share with you. So one thing that this process ends in is affirmations. And affirmations are very powerful. It's like an antidote. It's a way to reprogram that subconscious mind. Affirmations are, placing your attention upon a thought or a belief that you actually believe in. So, I deserve to be loved. I am loved. Those are a couple of little affirmations about that. You might start at, I deserve to be loved, because you have a stronger, almost conscious belief of, I don't know if I deserve to be loved. Some of us have had that. I remember having had that thought. And so I deserve to be loved might be the first place you want to start with that, because you can get there. Now, I am loved, if you're in a more extreme state of, I'm not sure if I even deserve to be loved, I am loved could actually make you hurt a little bit in the heart, because you're like, I'm not loved. It points out to you your belief that you aren't loved. That is actually a very present belief, is that you don't have enough love, or you aren't properly loved. But when you place your attention upon the belief, I deserve to be loved, when you're trying to release the belief, I'm not sure if I deserve to be loved, when you place your attention upon that and you feel your heart just open and your heart just connect with that, yes, I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be loved. So as you're doing that, that belief is growing in strength. You're placing your attention upon it, and the power and the texture and the reality of it grows. And as it does that, it is actually outseating. It's taking the place of, there's no room for that conflicting belief of, I don't know if I deserve to be loved. It's pushing it out. So this is what we have to do. And by the way, you couldn't just say, oh, I have this belief I don't want anymore. I don't deserve to be loved. I'm just going to bottle that up and throw it away. Now you have a hole. I mean, that's literally, that's what it would be like inside your being. You need to displace it. You need to outseat it. So we can do a very conscious practice of changing those beliefs so that we can start to align more with our true self, our true being. Okay, so this is what we do. There's a couple ways you can do it. There's one right there. Okay, what are the subjects that you want to tackle, or you want to start to really create more palpable, more changes in the reality of it? Okay, let's say it is love. I was already starting with love. So you can look at, you could just start with what it feels like. What are the things you're feeling? Well, I don't know if I deserve to be loved. Okay, I have a conflicting belief with that I do deserve to be loved, which is the gold. I do deserve to be loved is the gold. The old is, I don't know if I deserve to be loved. Another part, I'm just thinking of people and in my own experience. In order to be loved, I have to change someone. I have to save someone. I have to earn love. You know how you have projects, something that we do when we're trying to find a partner, and we attract someone that is always in needing us to do things for them, and we're always rescuing them, right? We're rescuing them, and we're trying to be their hero to our own detriment. And by the way, we can't rescue anyone. If you were carrying someone up the hill, how would they get down? They wouldn't have the fitness to get down, because you carried them the whole way. You have fitness to carry two people up a hill and back down again, but now they're at the top of a hill and they don't have the muscle strength to get down again. So we can't actually rescue anyone. If you put someone up at the top of the hill, you've actually crippled them because they can't get down again. So we can't actually ever rescue someone. That's called codependence, right? We all know that. So there's two beliefs we have right there. If we just go with what we're feeling, or we analyze what we have been doing. So we look at, well, what are the kind of partners that I have been attracting? Broken, not to be judgmental, but people that desperately need me to do a lot of stuff. You know, I have to, projects, a person who's a project, a person who has, let's say, for example, addiction, and they need me to try to help, you know, to police them on it or whatever it is. There's a couple right there. We can then analyze that reality and backtrack it. So if I'm always attracting someone who needs me to rescue them, needs me to do a lot of work in order to receive love, well, then that is the unconscious belief I have, which is I have to work hard in order to receive love. So that is in conflict with the fact that I deserve to be loved, or I am loved. And both things can exist at once. And so that's why things get a little muddy, because you could actually attract a partner that you have to rescue all the time, yet he really does give you love. And you really do love each other. But then there's this chaos on top of it. So we have these beliefs that are really the positive ones, but we have all these funky ones that we're either conscious or unconscious of that are conflicting with it. And another way this can show up is if we attract something that is like perfect or right in alignment with ourselves, but then it goes away. And that's because we were able to focus our feelings, that vibration upon the true self feelings for a while, the positive beliefs. But then those other old ones started to creep back in, and then it's called in this series of books by Genevieve Davis. She calls it snapback. When we actually manifest something that we desired, we have been desiring, but then it snaps back out of our reality. And that's because we spent a time, we actually kind of got ourselves there for a minute, but then we hadn't really done all of the work on the being to bring that inner being out more. And so the old stuff started to show up. We hadn't really done all the work. And then we snapped back from that creation that we had. We actually aren't quite ready as a person to experience what we created. So here's what we do. So we can just go with what we did. You sit down, you get yourself nice and relaxed, and try to be objective about it. Now, I actually offer this as a service for two reasons. Because it's easier to have someone else be objective on your behalf, because they're not literally you, so obviously they can be objective. They can be a mirror for you. And then when I do it with someone, it can go really deep because I use intuition. I can feel into you, like clairsentiently. I can also receive guidance clairvoyantly, and receive messages from your guides who are with you all the time, and help to bring forth the beliefs, the unconscious beliefs that you're ready to move out, so that you can highlight those conscious or the golden beliefs. So I can help you with in that way. But this is definitely something you can do on your own. And I recommend, even if you were to have someone do it as a service for you and intuitive, that you adapt this practices like this to do on your own in between, because you don't need teachers or guides that are humans to help you with that stuff all the time. You do more work on your own. I mean, you get these little kickstarts. So like, teacher is like I started talking about at the front of the show here, that about signs and wonders, about those experiences that kind of crack you open. That's what a teacher does as well, or a psychic or something. They kind of just represent that stuff. So you wouldn't want to be dependent upon a person who is a teacher, not for your entire life. And there's a difference between being an eternal student and being dependent, because dependence means that you've taken your power out of yourself and you've given it to something else. Excuse me while I take a sip. So, to recap where we are so far, to change your beliefs in order to change your life, analyze your beliefs. Basically, take a belief inventory. And you can start by just how it feels right on the surface about whatever the topic is, and then you can start to look at the reality. So the reality is your holograph. It's the holographic representation of your personal vibration, of that frequency. So that frequency, if you could think of, Star Wars, with the hologram, and then coming down and say, Luke, I have a message for you. Well, it's beaming out from your being, and then it creates all of this. I created UBN. That's the studio hand. Universal Broadcasting Network in Hollywood, California. I think I forgot to say where I'm broadcasting. I love to do that every time because I love being here. But in a way, yeah, I mean, I'm being hyperbolic, but yeah, we co-created UBN together, this studio, this building, along with all of the other thousands of people who created this building, the Sunset Towers Studios. So your frequency is broadcasting out this hologram. So you can look at that hologram then, and you can dial back to the frequency, to the genesis of whatever that reality is. You look at the relationships, you look at the financial situation, and you can look at it, if you could, like I say, try to be objective about it, and you can take it as symbols. Oh, I got a great example here. So on Monday, I was hiking, and it was around sunset. And as I was actually toward the end of my path, and I stepped forward with my right foot, and I was going a little too fast, because I was going too fast for the transitional lighting, because my eyes are a little funky with transitional lighting. And I mean, everyone's is. Our vision when the light is changing, it's more challenged. I stepped down with the right foot, going a little too quickly, and I slid with the right foot, and the left foot got caught in a rock, and so I went zoop if you're listening to this, what happened was my right foot went, and it was a hill. My right foot went all the way down in front of me, slid. The left foot stayed behind, and just crunched my knee really fast. And I heard something pop. And nobody likes to hear pops when their joints are doing things really quickly. So I'm limping this week. And it turns out, I think, I haven't had an MRI yet, I have a torn ligament, the MCL, which it could have been a lot worse, obviously. It always could be a lot worse. But I went back. At first, I experienced the emotions as I'm hobbling back to my car, and I was pissed at myself. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay if those are your real emotions. It's a place to start. I know that it's not really helpful, but it's where I am. And it's best to, if that's what you're feeling, to just go ahead and feel it so that you can get it out of the way. And then a day or two later, I started to analyze it, and I was like, okay, if this were a dream or if this were a story, look at what it means symbolically. And it made so much sense to me. And now, you don't know what's going on in my life or my reality, but this is the message that made perfect sense to me. I'm just giving you an example of how to analyze your holograph. I'm going down a path, and I'm actually near the end, or near like a new part of it. And I can't quite see what's going on yet, but I'm being impatient. And so I'm taking steps that are a little too quickly. But I can't see how to make those steps right now. And so as I take the steps a little too quickly, I got tripped up. And I hurt myself because I needed to be more patient. And this message is right on track with what's going on with me. I need to be more patient, take careful steps, and not try to muscle my way through it so much. And metaphysically speaking, when I looked up what the knee represents metaphysically, if you injure the knee or joints, in Louise Hay's book, Heal Your Life, it says that it's about changing directions, changing your path, and being able to be flexible about changing your path. And all of that makes perfect sense for me. And I had to give myself a couple of days in order to really receive the message because, again, you're reeling from the trauma and all that kind of stuff. And actually, my knee has started to feel better since I really started to embrace the message. It's pretty awesome. So everything that happens to you physically is old news energetically. The information inside a seed is what causes a flower to grow. So the actual flower is something that existed in potentiality a long time ago, relative to a flower's life. So anytime something happens to you like an injury, it's actually an opportunity to end a cycle, to move some of that old energy out. And so you can actually, whether it's an injury or an illness, your body is helping you to move out some old stagnant energy. And now I did that. I mean, I literally did it because I moved too quickly, but see, all of that subconscious stuff, those beliefs that were supporting those actions created the reality. So I analyzed my holograph, and I was able to find out a way that I need to be more patient, take one step at a time, and appreciate where I am, because I was trying to be somewhere else. It wasn't time for me to be somewhere else. It wasn't time for me to be one step further down that path, and that's why I slid and hurt myself. And guess what? I sat on my ass for a little bit because I hurt my knee. So I had to really take some time in that space that I was trying to rush past. And I'm doing a lot of sitting on my ass this whole week because the knee is hurt. So after you analyze and you take an inventory of the beliefs, you can basically turn everything around into an affirmation, just like that affirmation I was talking about in the beginning where I deserve to be loved. And then take that list of you turn those inside out. And if you are having trouble with one particular belief, and because, again, if you see that belief on paper and you're like, damn it, I need to work in order to receive love, you get a little pissed at yourself, that's okay. Just let that be for a little bit. And because paying that attention rather than repressing it or running away from it is actually what is going to allow it to release or change into something else. Go ahead and lean into it. Because at some point you will be like, okay, whatever. That's what I was taught. That's me trying to protect myself. You'll find your way out of that if you actually give it your full attention. You'll be able to release those feelings of self-judgment. You will. And actually just have a goal of releasing your self-judgment, and you eventually will. Once you get past that, and if you're still having a hard time figuring out, well, what am I supposed to do with this belief that I have to work in order to receive love? Go ahead and just Google Google, right? Thank goodness for Google. That you can just Google affirmations about love or affirmations about romantic partners, affirmations about soulmates, whatever it is. You can Google it and you'll find lists of them, and then just scan through those lists and you find one that makes you go, then use that one. That's what you can do. Or you can just try to invert it on your own. So you take that inventory, you turn it into a positive, to affirmation, to the positive beliefs, the ones that you do actually have already in your experience. And then every morning at least, but I recommend doing it 2, 3, 4 times a day, maybe even put it on your phone if you're standing in line. Just open up that document or note or whatever it is, or if you have some of them memorized, think about them, and then just read them to yourself quietly. Just place your attention upon them so that you get those feelings, those positive feelings, and that starts to create that swelling of the beliefs so that it starts to outseat the old beliefs. And then actually after a little bit, those beliefs that those affirmations that you created, they start to change a little bit, and you're like, well, yeah, of course I deserve love. And you, at some point, you're going to graduate that one, I deserve love, and you might turn it into I am loved. And because you might find out that, hey, I don't actually even need a romantic partner to know that, to experience the fact that I am loved. I love me. There's one way that I am loved, and I know that this planet, that Gaia, that God, or the universe loves me. You can start to experience I am loved and graduate I deserve to be loved, because to be is a future experience, and at some point you're going to realize I'm here, I've arrived, I am loved. So you can graduate those when they start to feel, whether it's stale or just like even now you're not even aligned with it anymore because you're beyond it. This practice is so powerful. It's actually really simple too. It takes about an hour, and give yourself an hour or two, a little me time, a little devotional time to start this for yourself. And I think you definitely deserve and should, you can carve that out for yourself. I mean, I think we should be doing it every day if we can. You can carve it out for yourself once a week. Tell your spouse to take the kids. You need some me time. Go to the park, take a personal day, or take a personal day. Go do that kind of stuff if that's what you need to do from work and all of the different attendant responsibilities we have in life. And so from there, and I'd love to just share a couple more universal laws, because we have the law of attraction, just went kind of in depth about how we can work with it, partner with the law of attraction, and consciously create with it. But to help you to connect with your belief that you are a creator even more, there's one universal law called the law of one mind, and that is that there is but one mind in the universe that is the creating principle behind each individual mind. Recognition of this one mind as God, or the universe, or creative source, brings the student to demonstrations of success. So, and to lengthen that a little bit, is the law of universal plenty. That one mind possesses all good within itself. So the universe possesses everything, all good within itself. And that there is no limit to how much good the universe can hold, because that's what the universe is made of. The universe is made of love, of creativity. So there's no limit to it. There is a limit to how much of its opposite that it can hold. So with all of that negative stuff that we've been feeling building up, know that there is a big counterbalance of love, of the positive thing, that will be moving that out. That has to build up to balance it out. The negativity has to be healed, because that's what we are made of. We are made of a state of wholeness. So anyway, by declaring that this source, this supply, this infinite supply, this universal law of plenty, is, by declaring it and identifying with it, then you're able to receive abundance, or all that there is, all of the positiveness. So we identify with it and realize that this one mind is actually in us. The mind that we have, that we are, is seamlessly connected, is a part, is God mind within us. And so we have access here and now to absolutely everything. And it sometimes that hurts, because you feel like, I'm a victim right now. And I don't believe that, because it's not true. And if you can just try to, in moments where you don't feel like that, go ahead and believe it all the way, that you do have access to everything, then when you're in one of those moments of victimhood or negativity or disempowerment, that the mind, the intelligent mind, can actually help you. The intelligent mind can say, but remember how you believe this, and you can be like, okay, but it feels far away right now, and it's like, that's okay. I'm here. This true belief that you are whole in this moment, and that you actually do have. We have a call. Okay, that you have everything, access to absolutely everything in an abundant universe, to the plentiful universe. I have a call. I only have a couple of minutes left, but let's go. Hi there. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, this is Antonio.
Antonio. Hi. Nice to meet you. Where are you calling from?
Calling from New York City.
Wonderful. Thank you for. Well, you got to sleep in a little later to be listening to this show.
Yeah.
What's going on, Antonio?
I was just calling my friend Tony Sweet said you guys had a good show to listen to, and I wanted to call in and see what you guys could help me with. I don't know how to. I don't think I've ever been to a psychic, so.
Yeah, that's cool. No, I've been there before. Okay, so then Antonio, I'm feeling that you have. How about career? Is that something? It's career. It's financial, but it's more career, life purpose kind of career. Feeling connected to what you're here to do, and having that greater passion. Does that connect with you?
Keep going, totally. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So that's the thing that showed up for me, and I have what do I have? 2 minutes. About 5. Okay, good. Let me get back into that. So let's see, Antonio, and can you tell me what your birth month is? Is it May?
June.
June. Okay. Is it early in June?
June 10th.
Okay. All right. I think that's why I was feeling that. All right. I'm just dialing into your field a little bit more. Okay, so I see you sitting, this is symbolic, but I see you sitting sort of, your shoulders a little bit hunched over, but because you're feeling a little bit disenchanted, I guess I might say, a little, it feels like disenchanted, like you're really feeling like what I do all the time is not inspiring me, it's not working for me, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
I mean, I love what I do, but it's not what I want to do.
Yeah. So it's not that. I mean,
Does that make sense?
I do. I totally get that. So you're grateful for it, and you're good at it, and it's not.
Right.
It's not. But at the same time, so this to me, I'm feeling like, and maybe it served you before, and actually you did find some inspiration, probably because it serves you well in all these ways, and you're really good at it. But you're just ready to kind of graduate from it, and but you don't really know. You don't want to make a wrong step, and you're trying to connect with the thing that is inspiring to you. You want to feel I'm here for a reason, and I want to tell you first off, Antonio, you are here for a reason. You did consciously come into this life with a plan, and I now see you. You're really good. Okay, so I'm seeing this symbol of you like public speaking or addressing a lot of people. I actually feel like you'd be a good motivational speaker. Does this make some sense to you? It's something along those lines, but it's also you're very creative. You have and I think that the work that you're doing now has a creative side to it, but you're no longer feeling inspired by it. It's like you've done that process so many times that you no longer. It's like rote to you. It's like, yes, it's A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. It's no longer like, oh, I'm just allowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just allowing that flow.
Totally.
And, I mean, like, that's what it did to you for a while. And I actually feel like you've been doing it for a decent amount of time where you no longer feel inspired. It was almost like the amount of time that you felt inspired while doing that work is a lot shorter than the amount of time you've been doing it and you feel uninspired. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So let's see.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty funny. I mean, can I tell you what I do and what I want to do?
Sure thing.
So I can.
Yeah.
Because you kind of pinpointed it.
Okay. Let's.
Well, I'm a dance teacher and choreographer.
Okay. Oh, well, there you go. That's.
So that's
and
that's
I
the
said 1, 2, 3,
creative
4.
And what I want
But Antonio, I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's wild. So that was that was a bit of channeling. That's like your guides actually using me to really pinpoint what was going on with you. Go ahead. Yeah. And what else? What do you want to do?
And what I want to do when you were like, I see you being a public speaker or something like that. I'm a singer, and I want
standing up and
live
addressing,
for performing in front of people. So
okay, yeah, okay,
great. That's a little freaky.
Okay. It's not freaky. This is how we can live. I promise you. You know this. You know what it feels like. So I'll just tell you, it feels exactly like it feels when you sing. That's what it feels like to me when I'm doing a reading. It feels the same way.
Oh, totally.
It's not that spooky, actually. It's not that woo woo.
Yeah.
So let me just ask a little. We have probably another minute. Let's see. Okay, so hold on. I'm translating this, and I see that. So you are taking lessons right now, or you haven't been? I'm seeing you taking lessons. Taking vocal lessons?
No.
Okay. I feel like...
No, I have in the past.
Okay. I feel like that is going to... Because to have that plus open mic stuff, just start doing it. So those are 2 ways to just start doing it. So the open mic stuff is just going to be expression. It's can start to open up networks for you too. But the lessons, starting to take lessons and have a coach, that will do that as well. It actually will open up a network for you, but it's going to help you feel really connected to your improvement upon it and your power in it. And then just doing it in those ways are going to start to help you illuminate the paths in front of you, and you are very gifted at it. And I actually do see you as I'm working with you, as you're feeling that you could start to illuminate those paths, because you're feeling it. You're like experiencing now doing open mic or karaoke, even if it has to be karaoke. Oh, gross. Yeah, karaoke feels gross. But that's like, if I had to, I would do karaoke. But it's more about open mic. It's more about, oh, you live in New York. It's too bad. We have something in LA where people get together and they have an open mic kind of situation. Some people do poetry and some people do other things. But I see you with a piano. Yeah. So the situation where you're able actually to do some real music with a piano, real instrument, and then the vocal lessons, getting the coaching. I would say do it at least once a month and then ramp it up. Once a month might feel easier to start doing, whether it's financially or time-wise, resource-wise. So start, if it feels like once a month, you might even ramp it up to twice and then every week at some point. But it is going to help you to identify with it. It's going to help you to open up the actual networks of it. And given that, I see you doing some recording as well. That's what it feels like right now. But all of that is based upon you feeling the stuff and taking step forward. Because any time a psychic gives a time prediction, it's totally based upon a snapshot of the absolute now. Because you can make 10 radical choices in the next minute and change all of that. And I'm out of time, but I so appreciate you calling, Antonio. Please call again.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, of course.
Call it and
Thank
give me a report.
I will.
All right,
I will.
great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that's our show today for the first day of 2017. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Tricia Carr, and I love you, whoever you are.